Good morning, everyone. This is Don Daniel. I'm founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And we are having a good time already this morning, and we're in the Mortgage Syndicate Club. I'm so grateful for this club. I mean, it's a huge club. In fact, it is probably, I think it is the first big real estate club ever on Clubhouse. And we are privileged to share our message, how to pay off mortgages in 7 years, and not just mortgages, but all of your debt, with this particular audience. And I'm glad to have my moderators here with me today. I got Jared, I got Credit Goddess, I got Kelly. Oh my gosh, we're going to have a fabulous, fabulous time this morning. And if you got any questions about how lending actually works, listen, this is the place to ask that question, especially when you're talking about higher interest rates that are coming up, what to do about that. We may even talk about should we go ahead and invest? How can we increase our profitability if we are doing real estate investing? Can we cut our interest costs by 75%? Oh my goodness. So listen, this is going to be great, great, great. Listen, I'm asking for anyone who wants to ask any questions about anything that has to do with loans, with lending, or investing, property at all. Come on up, ask your question. Jared, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I'm excited to jump into it. I see Maya has her hand up. Go ahead and accept the invitation up, and then you can come on stage, and we'd love to kick this off with your question. But yeah, so we're going to do some quick moderator introductions, and then we're going to answer questions. And as I was mentioning before the theme music comes on, what's great about this room is not only you're going to hear some amazing things in Clubhouse, but if you log into your iPad or your desktop or your laptop, you can type in ice10kvideos.com and you'll be able to go to Don's YouTube channel where you're going to be able to see these examples live in real time on the screen, and he'll break down how he's eliminating years off your mortgage, how he's saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars, and how he's helping his clients. So again, if you want to go to the YouTube channel, check out the chat. I wrote down the website there, but it's ice10kvideos.com. Go ahead and hop on that computer right now, raise your hand, come on stage, and you can watch the examples on your screen and show you how to save hundreds of thousands of dollars. Closed mouths don't get fed. And this is episode 91. We have fed a ton of people through this room, but not only does he do it through this room, he does it through his service. And you'll learn more about that. You'll learn more about his book, and you'll learn more about the amazing testimonials he's been able to accomplish for his customers. So with that being said, let's go through some moderator introductions. Let's go ahead and do ladies first. I'm going to pass the mic to Credit Goddess.
Yes, happy Sunday, everyone. My name is Rose Laura Lewis, also known as Credit Goddess, and the official credit expert for the P.I.L.L Method crew here. I'm a credit score improvement strategist, so not only do I help you repair, I also help you rebuild your credit. I'm also a business credit consultant as well for any entrepreneurs or business owners that are looking to establish business credit under their EIN and separate their social from their EIN. Definitely tap in with me if you guys have any credit related questions, personal or business. Definitely tap in with me. My number is in the bio. Definitely check me out. Thank you. Next is Kelly.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, Credit Goddess. I am Kelly Russell. I'm the owner of Self-Care Holistic E-commerce with retail and warehouse locations in Wilmington, Delaware. I also help business owners establish business credit and get them to scale their business, especially specializing in the e-commerce brands. So I'm glad to be here and amongst my friends and learn and add value where I can. Thanks for having me.
All right, Don, you want to introduce our next guest?
Oh, listen, he needs no introduction, but I'll do it anyway. Listen, folks, we got the founder of the Mortgage Syndicate on the stage. His name is Jonathan Bing. Jonathan, tell us who you are and how fabulous you are.
Fabulous. Okay. Hey, good morning, guys. I'm Jonathan Bing. I'm the Executive Vice President and Partner of Nation Mac Mortgage. We're in 48 states, and I'm here to show support because, even as a mortgage lender, what it's doing is phenomenal. And so, because we do want our clients to save money, so excuse me, I'm here and I will be here. Thank you.
Just a quick question, Jonathan. Um, Chances are, what do you think will happen if you have either a residential client or a commercial client that pays their mortgage off early? Will they tend to get another property, and will they come back to you?
Absolutely. And I'll take it a step further. Yeah, most likely they will get another property. However, you also have to consider the fact that they may just go back and refinance that and take cash out. So, Don, I mean, what you're doing helps us out tremendously, because, some people, people are addicted to debt, and so even though you show them how to pay their debt off, a lot of times they'll go right back and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to use this house as an ATM machine. And so they're back in that cycle again. And they're back reaching back out to you to take care of it again. So absolutely. They would definitely go out and buy more real estate if they pay off the debt early. But if they don't, they're more likely going to get debt because they can't take it with them.
Hey, Jonathan, that sounds like listen, if we don't get a question, I'm going to bring that up, how a real estate investor can cash out, refi, at a much lower interest cost so that they can take that cash and invest it in more properties. I'd love to be able to talk about that. Thank you for the idea.
No, thank you for having me here, Don, as always.
All right, all right. So it looks like we have no questions as of this moment, but trust me, guys, guys and gals, if you have a question, you definitely want to come on stage and ask it, because he will give you something that will change your 2022 and your entire trajectory when it comes to your interest cost. He saves people up to 75% of their lifetime interest costs, depending on how much interest cost you have. Could be hundreds of thousands of dollars. So don't be shy, raise your hand. But if there are no hands raised, Don, I think you have a great idea to break down that example. I think the audience would enjoy it. And if you know people in your network that would enjoy this example, make sure to click that share button in between the chat and the scissors and click share on Clubhouse. Click invite people in your network so that they can see this example when it happens. And then before we do that, real quick, we got 10K cards in the building. We'd love for you to introduce yourself quickly and let people know who you are, what you do. And Don, go ahead and set that example up while he does so.
Oh, no, wait a second. We're really going to push to get a question up here. In fact, I'm feeling very, very generous this morning. Okay, because we got 10K cards in the building. We got Jonathan, we got Kelly. We got Credit Goddess, and I'm so pleased to be in the Mortgage Syndicate Club. Listen, we're going to try to encourage somebody to come up and ask a question. Do you see that card above our heads? That's a 10K card, folks. That is a digital business card. Is the most versatile thing on the planet. And for the first person, the first three persons that come up and ask a question, if you don't have a card, I am going to get your, oh, Lord have mercy. See how that works, 10K? For the first three people that come up and ask a question, they're going to get a 10K card this morning.
I got a question for Jonathan.
All right, then 10K, tell us who you are and how fabulous you are and why that 10K card is so fabulous.
Hey, good morning, family. How are you doing? Always a pleasure seeing you. My boy Jonathan, we had a great room last night. Great conversation. Shout out to Jared, Credit, Kelly, MC Michael, Layla, David, Vernick. So, hey, guys, I'm the founder and CEO of 10K Cards, a digital business card. I'm the guy that put together all your contact points into one place. If you're a business owner or a professional, you should have everything in one place. So when you get to meet someone that's in need of your product or service, they can get to see your website, your social media, your phone number, your email, your calendar, your payment options, anything that you want to show someone with a snap of a finger. That's what we do for you. So as my boy Sean Ackerman normally says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So get yourself a 10K card. Don, while I'm in this room, my sole purpose is to promote you and what you're doing because we believe in what you're doing. We endorse you in what you're doing. And most importantly, Don actually paid for a bunch of 10K cards, guys, to make sure everyone they get a copy of his book, get themselves a basic 10K card. So take advantage today. Go to ice10klive.com, get a copy of his book, and send me the receipt. With that said, Captain Don, back to you, my brother.
All right, Jared, it's on you, my man. I think we have some questions on the stage.
All right, all right. So Michael, Leia, and Veronique, congratulations, y'all are getting 10K cards. And also congratulations, whatever question you asked Don, he's going to put you on to some serious cost savings. So Michael, I hear you have a question for Jonathan. So go ahead and ask that question. But also, if you have a question about a mortgage, refinance, car loans, student loans, credit card debt, that would be even better. But go ahead and ask Jonathan the question. And then go ahead and ask Don the question as well if you have one.
Hey, yes, sir. Thank you. Jonathan, what do you like better? A piece of property at 500K at 5%, or you hold off a few months thinking things are going to drop and you pick it up at 450, but the rates have jumped to 6%. The payment's going to be roughly the same, but over the long haul, what do you like better? Thank you.
Michael, I'm going to take that property right now. And once again, because when you're sitting there, you're betting against the market, and you're betting against the market, and I guess a period of time, or a time frame where there's a shortage of homes. If you're talking about houses, America right now has about $5.4 million. Excuse me, 5.4 million homes short. They're short of what they need. So, chances are that property's not going to drop 50 grand. Chances are that property is going to continue to go up. And right now, you read a lot of different articles and like, oh, prices are dropping. That's situational. Prices aren't dropping. That's like saying, right now, oil prices are going to drop. We have, we're quote unquote coming to the end of the supply. We don't have much, but yet we're going to go ahead and lower prices. No, prices are going to stay where they are, or where they traditionally have been, I should say. I don't foresee prices dropping the way that a lot of people are saying, because once again, we're in a housing crisis, a housing shortage crisis, and that housing shortage crisis isn't the time you start lowering price. That's just my belief, and I subscribe to that old adage: you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait. I yield.
Don, any thoughts on the this topic right here? What would you do in this situation based off of the P.I.L.L method and what you deal with when it comes to interest rates?
Hey, Michael, how are you doing this morning, sir?
Doing good, thank you.
All right, Michael, it sounds like it's from your question. Are you assuming that a lower interest rate is actually going to be better than a higher one in this market?
Well, I've just seen different scenarios.
Sure.
And like Jonathan said, different markets are behaving differently. But if things were to drop, if a house right now is 500K and you can get it at 5%, or 60 days down the road in a particular market, if it were to drop to 450, but your rate is now 6% because you waited, what's the better scenario long term?
Gotcha. Well, I'm with Jonathan. Chances are it's not going to drop that much, if at all. But let's take a look at the interest rates, because did you realize that once you understand how an amortization schedule works, and that's what we do here, we teach people about how lending actually works, that the 6% interest rate, if you can afford the payment, is actually better than the 5% rate all the way around. You're going to save money and you'll be able to gain equity much faster if you know what to do. Are you in a position to see on a separate device, YouTube, like on your computer or tablet?
Yes, sir.
If you'd like to see that, I can go over it with you. If only if you'd like to see it.
Yeah. Do you have a link that I could go to and look at it?
Sure. All right, team. What's the link?
Yeah, so if you go into the chat, it's the last link that I posted, but basically if you type in ice10kvideos.com on your iPad, desktop, or laptop, you'll be able to see these examples on YouTube. Go to episode 91, which is the room that we're in right now that says live, and a commercial will play. Just let it play. And once it's played, you'll see Don in the studio. He'll put up the numbers that you just gave him, and he'll break down the scenario so you can actually see the numbers versus just hearing them.
Yeah, you can go ahead and skip that commercial. It only cost me about $100, but go ahead and skip the commercial. I'm just kidding.
I'm on YouTube now. What's the best way if you're on YouTube to find it?
If you're on YouTube now, just search P.I.L.L method. One word, P-I-L-L method, METHOD, and then that would bring you to my channel, and subscribe to the channel, and just click on the live.
Yeah, I'm trying to navigate and get off the commercial here.
There you go.
I apologize, sir. It's just
Listen, we have plenty of time. What you're talking about is something that people need to know about, especially when in terms of interest rates and how we can save money. Because if you're a real estate investor, and I'm assuming you're a real estate investor.
Yes, sir. We do single family and then duplexes and quads.
Okay. So while you're working that out, tell us a little bit about what you do, and I'll have more information for you on how you can save additional monies where you probably did not realize you could save that money.
Gotcha. I'm a federal contractor. That's our bread and butter. And then we just use our profits off that and just keep pushing it into real estate. We try to stay in the 300K range on the single family, just so the numbers will work. Anything over that, it's just hard to make sense. And then on the quads and the duplexes, try to stay around 200,000 per door.
Fantastic. Let me know how you're doing at finding the live button on P.I.L.L method. Have you found us?
It's got videos, and then it's got get savings and earnings reports. That's all I'm getting.
No. You went to pillmethod.com. You're on my website. No, you want to go to, here's what you do. Just put in ICE in your address line, ice10kvideos.com, and it'll take you to YouTube.
I've got to subscribe. I apologize on it.
There you go. And do you see the live button on the videos now? It'll be.
Yeah, just look at episode 91 and just click that, and it'll take you right there.
Yeah, now I've got your commercial.
There you go. So just turn down.
Ad.
Yep, just turn down the volume on your computer.
There you go. So just turn down. Yep, just turn down the volume on your computer.
All right, I'm there. Thank you.
All right, great. So you should be able. I'm putting on the screen a $500,000 mortgage at 2.99%. I'm also putting on a $500,000 mortgage at 6%. All right.
Yes.
All right. So I'm just going to go over just the basics of how the bank makes its money and how we can upset their timing so that it makes it impossible for them to charge us all of that interest. And all right, so let me go ahead and share my screen so you can see it. And there we go. Share the screen. There we are. All right. So now you should be able to see. We're going to pull that up right now. And the first thing you're going to see as soon as our engineer puts it on the screen is a $500,000 mortgage at 6%. And there's going to be a slight delay between what you see and what I talk about. So it should be on the screen now. All right. So we're talking about just the principal and interest payment. And on this loan, 500,000 at 6% at for 360 months or 30 years, the principal and interest payment is $2,997.75. When we scroll down to the summary, we see that on a $500,000 mortgage for 30 years, the bank actually wants $579,190 in interest on that loan over 30 years. But working with us, they're never going to see all of that money. Okay. Because the actual total interest paid as a percentage of principal is not 6% at all. It's 115.838%, where we're actually paying back more in interest than the principal borrowed. That's what we're going to attack. So let me see here. Let us get where we need to be. And Michael, I'm scrolling down to payment number 1. And if you can work with me here, this is going to work a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to be asking some questions so that we can understand exactly what's going on with how the bank makes its money. So do you see payment number 1 on your screen, sir?
Yes, sir.
And how much goes to principal and how much goes to interest?
You got 500 going to principal and a 2,500 interest.
Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But and so when you pay that $500 or the $497.75 to principal, that lowers your principal balance on so you see the principal balance on line 1. So the principal balance on line 1, and you look at the very next line. So no matter where you are in your amortization schedule, when you look at the principal balance, always look to the next line to see what to do. And because we owe less than the $500,000 now, our interest cost is less on the very next line. So our interest cost on line 2 goes all the way down to how much, sir?
The 2497.51.
Exactly. Not very much difference, is it?
No, sir.
All right. So here's what I need folks to understand. We are paying interest based on the principal balance of the previous line. Okay. So let's see what we can do about that. So let's just say we make the first payment here in January. We've made our payment in January of our regular payment of 20, it is 29.97.75. Okay. And it's always going to be that every single month. So we made our payment in January. We don't owe anything until February, correct?
Correct.
And what's February's principal payment according to this schedule?
The 497.
That's January's principal payment. February's principal payment.
500 and a quarter.
500 and a quarter. So based on what you know to be true, do we have to wait till February to give the bank that $500.24?
No, sir.
If we had it, could we give it to them in January?
Yes.
And if we direct the bank, they will apply that to principal, won't they?
Yes, they will.
And all $500.24 will go to principal, no interest, because we've already paid the interest for January. So we're actually paid down to line 2 in January, aren't we? Where we would owe $499,002 and a penny, correct?
Yes.
We just got rid of line 2 for only $500. Line 2 is gone. Our next mortgage payment for February is on line 3 of the schedule, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So we're paying $502.74 in principal and $24.9501 in interest. But my question is, since we gave the bank the $500 early and they had to do their calculation on the $499.02 and a penny, what happened to the $24.9751 in interest on line 2? What happened to that money?
Disappeared.
It disappeared. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely
Yes,
amazing. So listen, you've been in this game a while. Okay. And so you're helping out a lot of people here who have not been in the game a while. So I need you to right now take a look at cumulative principal, that's column 3, and cumulative interest, that's column 4. Okay? Column 3 and column 4. All right. And at the end of 12 months, by making the minimum payment on this loan, at the end of 12 months, we would pay this loan down by $6,140, correct?
Yes.
And how much interest will we have paid the bank in that time?
30 grand.
That is ridiculous. Now, this is a property that's obviously cash flowing and it's making a lot of money, or the real estate investor would not be in it. But guess what? The real estate investor, most real estate investors do not pay attention to. They don't pay attention to the interest cost that they're paying to receive the rent money that they're receiving, because the general thought is my tenants are paying the rent, whether it's single family or multifamily. My tenants are paying the rent. Therefore, the interest cost here is just the cost of doing business, correct? So if you're speaking, you're on mute. So Michael, here's my question. This $6,140 and a penny, we're eventually going to have to pay that because that's money we borrowed. But here's my question. Do I have to pay this in 12 monthly installments?
No, sir.
If I had it, could I pay all of this on line 1?
Yes.
And if I did, would I be paid down to line 12 in just 1 month?
Yes, sir.
Oh, then what happens to all the interest payments between line 2 and line 12?
Magically disappears.
Exactly. So I'm giving the bank the same amount of money, but I'm choosing the time in which to give it to them. And so the only interest I will pay to move this mortgage from line 1, which is point A to point B, line 12, it would cost me only $2,500 in interest instead of $29,832.99. Sir, that is a $27,361.06 savings to accomplish the same goal. Do you think that's significant?
Very significant.
All right, so here's what we're talking about now. I need you to take a look at this thing because this is at a 6% interest rate. We're already looking at a principal payment of $500 here. Our principal payments are $500 at 6%, but the interest is where it is. Okay. Now we need to take a look at. I'm going to confirm that. I'm going to confirm that this is our 6% interest rate. Yes, it's confirmed, and a little over $6,000 prepaid to this loan will knock out about a year's worth of payments. And if that's the case, if we prepay this in January, our next mortgage payment for February, would it be on line 13 of our amortization schedule?
Yes.
Yes, most definitely. So we have a payment every single month. But guess what? We don't have to make every single one of those 360 payments. And it's easy not to do it. So let's take a look at this same loan at 2.99 interest rate, and let's see what the differences are, okay? Right now, at 2.99, it's coming up on your screen in just a few seconds. Obviously, the payment is lower. It's down to $2105.32. The amount of interest that the bank wants over 30 years is lower. It's only $257,951. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal is 51% instead of 115.838%. But here is the point I want to make on this loan. When you see payment number 1, the principal payments are not in the $500 range anymore. They're in the $800 range, aren't they?
Yes.
So if I'm going to prepay this loan and knock out payments and gain equity at a lower interest cost, Would it be easier to come up with the $500 prepayments or the $800 prepayments?
The 5.
Exactly. Now, remember, we paid about $6,100 to prepay on this loan and knock out a year's worth of principal payments, and we save a ton of interest. And our next payment was on line 13 of our schedule. But look what right around $6,100 does to this loan if we look at cumulative principal here in the third column. About the same amount of money, only knocks out about 7 payments instead of 12. So the point I'm trying to make is I never know what interest rate is going to be right for which client. But I do know this. It's not necessarily the lowest interest rate. It's not necessarily the highest interest rate available. Sometimes we just need to figure out what is the right interest rate so that we can aggressively attack this loan without causing harm to our ability to reinvest. And I'll get to that in a second. But also, depending on how much money we're making, we can then see how we can save the most amount of interest that's mathematically possible based on the income that we have. Now, here's what I want to also point out, Michael, that most of the real estate investors I talk to have a reserve fund so that they can do repairs and maintenance on their buildings if they're doing buy and hold. Now, do you do rental properties as well?
Yes, everything we have, we buy to keep.
Buy to keep. Okay. So here's what we're doing. So if you have a reserve fund, and I'm asking, I don't want to assume, do you have a reserve fund that you use for that sort of thing?
Yes, so we try to keep 50K plus or minus in that.
Okay, 50K plus or minus. So if we keep 50K plus or minus, it's probably sitting in a bank somewhere, probably in a savings account, making about 1/10%.
If that.
If that. Okay. So in this scenario, I'm going to go back to the other example at 6%. Now, here's what I want to ask. You already have a percentage of the rents that you are gathering, that you collect every month. You have a certain percentage that goes into that reserve fund. You don't have to tell us what that is. The important thing is that there is a certain percentage that goes into that account. All right. So let's just say out of that 50K, we borrow $6,140 and a penny from ourselves out of that 50K. We still have a significant amount of money that's still left in there, don't we?
Yes, sir.
Take the money from there, borrow it from ourselves, advance it to one of our loans, and I can guarantee you. Now, I don't know much about math. See, I know about pictures. I have Asperger's. So when I look at an amortization schedule, I see the pictures and the patterns, and they just jump out right at me. I don't do math very well. But here's what I do know, that this $6,140 sitting in your bank account will not make $27,361.06, but it certainly could save you that much money on this mortgage. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And then could you then, based on the time frame of, how long would it take me to pay back my $6,000 out of the funds that we've already earmarked to go into the reserve fund? We just have to figure out how long it would take us to pay ourselves back. And then when that $6,000 returned, could we just do it again and do it again and do it again, using monies that are virtually sitting dormant, but the monies that you've earmarked for reinvestment aren't touched at all. Now we're gaining equity at 5 to 7 times the original rate, and we're getting this particular property to the point where we can cash out refi years sooner. So if we just wanted to take $100,000 out of this particular mortgage, out of this particular property, and we're just looking at we're discounting market conditions. Let's just say just by making minimum payments to the loan. To take out about $100,000 would take about 140 months, okay, and cost $319,000 in interest. Not very interested in that now, okay? But doing what we just talked about, we can reach this $100,000 point much sooner, maybe, I don't know, 5 or 10 years sooner at a much lower interest cost. And so when we cash out refi, we've just bought the same amount of equity at a much lower interest cost. And if we track the interest cost of what it would normally cost based on how much interest we saved to get the same, to purchase the same equity, oh my gosh, let's say it's $100,000 less or $150,000 less. That's money you can now reinvest. Michael, does that make sense to you? Go right ahead.
Now, are you suggesting you do that one lump sum, that 6K? And of course, then you go back to your regular payments, or how often are you saying every time, every 3 to 6 months you throw another 6K? Or are you talking about, is that just a one-time deal and then you just start back with your regular payments?
Well, see, yeah, you just go back to your regular payments until you build up your reserve again, and then you hit it again. Keep building up your reserve. Now, our program is, we actually run this program using.
Hey, Don, if you're speaking, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Michael. I just get so excited. I forget to push the doggone button. So in answer to your question, what we're doing is we are looking at advancing the loan from what we call a facilitating account, and then building up that facilitating account again. And however long it takes, then we hit it again. Now we have a what we call an opportunity cost calculator. It is a cloud-based computing system that looks at every individuals or real estate investors situation and makes strategic plans on how much money to move, what month to move it in, what day of the month to move it on, and which loan to attack based on a case-by-case basis. So this program optimizes your situation, and your situation is going to be different from one of your competitors or associates that are in your same city or state or anywhere else in the country. We're taking a look at all of your situations differently, and we're going to come up with a plan specific for you based on live data that comes in monthly. So think of it in terms of a GPS system for your money that takes current data and then recalculates and gives you new instructions each and every month based on what is actually going on. So it's not a spreadsheet. This is a dynamic program that helps you to know exactly what to do and when to increase profitability and to lower expenses, especially when it comes to interest cost.
Okay, one more question, sir.
Sure.
Being devil's advocate, from what you hear from all, most of the larger investors, let's say you can turn that 6K over every 90 days. But your original intention is to keep that 6K in every 18 to 24 months, you've got your next 20% down for your next property. How does that balance out where you're losing you're paying off what you have, but you're cutting into your down payment for newer acquisitions? Thank you.
Oh, that is a great question. Let me put something on the screen for that. And I'm going to pull up another situation here, and we're going to go over that very situation. And let me find it. And there it is. Now I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, and this particular investor is in this area somewhere. Okay, so we're going to stop this share, and we're going to bring up a new share, and we're going to handle that question. All right, so we're going to share a new screen and bring this up. Okay. Now, this particular situation is actually two mortgages. And the total on these mortgages come up to $2,236,376. The total payments on the mortgages comes to about $14,000. Okay. $14,000 a month. But because these are office buildings, he's making about he's pulling in about $41,000 a month in rents on these two buildings. Okay. And again, the mortgage payments are $14,000 a month. So he says, Don, I read your book. I like what you're talking about, but I need you to know that the majority of my money, I want to be able to reinvest to build my portfolio. And I said, well, don't worry about that. But he told me that he has about $6,000 a month going into that reserve fund. The rest of the money is going into to reinvest to put down payments on other properties. So do I have that about right, Michael? And if you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay. I guess you're speaking. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I was the same thing you did on mute, but yeah, that was my question.
Right.
Where is the break-even point of paying down existing loans on your properties versus saving for down payments for new properties?
So the break-even point is where you put it. You tell us how much of that money you're bringing in. Says Don, and he told me specifically, I don't want to touch any of this money over here. And then I said, oh, I'm only going to work with the $6,000 you're putting into your reserve fund. That's it. All the rest of that money that comes in every month that you've earmarked for reinvestment, we don't touch. He told me what he wanted to do. We work with what you give us. And based on that, he does about $6,000 a month that he's putting in there. So our program takes a look at what he's doing here. And so I'm going to break this down for you. In the first 2 months on this particular loan, he paid it down by $7,374.92, but it cost him $4,600 here in interest. On an SBA loan, and I think this is a 25-year amortization, in 37 months, paid it down by $99,000, but it cost him $222,000 in interest. Then we came on board after he read my book. Then I showed him how, by just using the monies that are going into the reserve fund and only dealing with that $6,000 every month that he's putting in there, if he wanted to, instead of taking 21.9 years to pay this off the $2,236,000 that he owes and pay an additional $1,123,195, just using that money sitting in the reserve fund, not using any other funds earmarked for reinvesting, only pay out about $243,000 and pay everything off in 4.9 years. And if you're talking, you're on mute, sir. So what do you think?
No, it looks good. I just a lot of information to absorb. Another scenario.
Yes.
Again, I do appreciate your information.
Sure.
You've got properties locked in at 3 to 4% back when things were good, a year ago.
Yes.
And now you're looking at 6% to 7% on commercial stuff.
Yes.
Do you recommend doing the same method and chiseling away at those 3% loans, or putting down a bigger down payment and really chiseling away at that 6% property you just acquired?
Okay, so when I never put down big down payments. Never. I only put down the payment that makes sense to keep the payment in line. And generally, for investors, we only put down the minimums, never more than the minimums. Let me give you an example. So I hope I'm understanding this. So
yeah, well, I was just using the 20% down. Let's just use that as the
okay, the 20% down.
Loans.
Okay, all right. So the 20% down. So ask your question again based on the 20% down.
Okay, if I have loans locked in 3 to 4% on properties, from a year or two ago when loans were rates were good,
Right.
and then I go out to acquire a new property and it's going to be 6.5%, and I put my 20% down. Do you recommend taking all of that extra? Let's just say that 6K number. Use that as that you have left over in your reserve funds that you're wanting to use. Would you put all of that on that one note that you just acquired at 6.5%, or spread it out over all the notes, even though some of the other ones are low interest rates? Thank you.
Excellent question. Number one, we never spread it out. Our program chooses which one to attack. It may attack this one for these months involved and then switch over to another loan, but we don't spread out prepayments over several loans in the same month. Okay, and think of it in terms of, now I'm telling you, I was just a regular kid growing up. I'm not wasn't crazy, but I learned how to use a magnifying glass outside, and with a magnifying glass, and if you hold it just right, you can concentrate that beam, and you can burn wood and even insects. Oh, I said it. All right. I'm just saying, yeah, I did burn up some insects with my magnifying glass, but I'm just a regular kid. But do you see what I mean? When we spread our beam too wide, we're not as effective, unless what we want to do is focus on a particular loan, so that not only we can figure out how much interest we can save, but we want to drill all the way down, Michael, and save the most amount of interest per dollar applied. Yes, it even comes down to unit cost when it comes to saving interest. I want to get the biggest bang I possibly can from every dollar when we choose the loan. And because there are so many variables involved, okay, then it's a lot of math. So our computer does all the work. So would you like to see an example of how the program chooses which loan to attack?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right. So we're going to change screens again. And we're going to go over changing the screens. We're going to share this. And our engineer can put this up on the screen. So we're going to go back over to screen 2. And so what you're seeing now is this is an example of let me make this just a bit smaller, of our program, but this only has one mortgage in it. I'm going to set this up with a new demo. So we're going to reset the account to multiple properties. There we go. That's all right. So we'll set it up to multiple properties. And this one has 10 mortgages. Well, actually 11, because it has 10 regular mortgages and a HELOC. All right. So if we go into the accounts, I'm going to click on the accounts tab, and we can actually see that we have the 10th mortgage at the top, and then it starts to count down the mortgages. Mortgage 1, 2, 3, and their various interest rates, various balances, and the minimum payments are different. So we have 6%, we got 4%, we got 5%, we got 4.13%. So there are 10 mortgages here. And if you look at, and if you have 10 variables, and if you line up all the variables in a way which is the most efficient way to pay these mortgages off? Is it start with number 1 and go all the way through number 10? Or should we start out with number 9 and then go to number 4 and then to 7? But only one way out of all the ways that you could look at this is going to be the most efficient. And when you have 10 variables, let me put that on the screen for you. Watch this. When we have 10 variables, that would be 10 exclamation point All right, 10 exclamation point. That's 10 factorial. And on the screen, you will see when you have 10 variables, there are over 3,628,800 different ways to line these mortgages up and to find out which one is going to be which way to pay them off or to attack them is going to we would have all of those to choose from and only one is optimum. Our program does all of that math in just a few seconds. So
That's sweet.
so let's go back to where we
On
are.
your,
Go
on
ahead.
your YouTube channel, sir, we still have the old screen from 10 minutes ago on the YouTube channel.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody else seeing that same thing? Refresh your screen. See if it come. Go ahead and refresh.
I'm able to follow. I'm
Yeah.
able to follow.
Great. Go ahead and refresh your screen, and then see if it hit that little circular button on the corner of your browser, and see if you can if your will catch up. So, were you able to refresh, Michael?
What I've got, sir, is shows next transfer to debt on.
There you go. That's where you want to be.
Okay, thank you.
That's exactly where you want to be. Okay, great. So we're going to go back to the action plan, and I'm just going to go quickly through what happens when we're choosing which loan to attack. All right. And it takes a little bit longer to load because we have 10 mortgages. Anytime the program is doing anything, it's looking at everything it needs to take a look at. So here's what we have. We have a rental income of $15,000 a month coming in. All right. We have some bills to pay. And anytime you see these arrows, that's the program telling you how much money to put into your savings account. Okay. And that's after you've already preset the program, telling it this is the amount of money that it can use out of the money I have coming in. And this is the amount of money it cannot use. So it'll never use the money that you've earmarked for reinvesting. And because we're going to give it those instructions. Okay. Computers really aren't smart. They're just fast at following the instructions you give them. So here's what we're going to take a look at. So when we do that, we're going to be paying just the minimum payment on all of our mortgages. That's 8, that's 3, that's 2, that's 4, that's 1. Minimum payment on the HELOC, pay the auto insurance, pay some utilities, and just do the things that we would normally do in that month. But in May, things change a little bit. So we've taken care of April. Now we're in May. Program says, put some money in savings, and then take money from that savings account, the one that you're using to keep that reserve fund, take out enough money to pay the HELOC to zero. Now, once the HELOC is at zero, now the program can concentrate another mortgage, because now it says, okay, we've paid this one to zero. Now which one do we attack next? This program chooses mortgage number 9. Out of all the other mortgages, out of 10 mortgages, it says, let's put this $4,039.89 on mortgage number 9. And I wanted to focus on this. And I just was talking to Kenyatta about this the other day. Our program stops at the 89 cents. Why not just round it up to the next dollar? Why not just round it up to $4,100? Because what the program is doing is finding out where that critical point is, where more is too much. I talked to a builder here who was an engineer in his former life, and this is what he told me when he took me to lunch. He says, Don, I know how many nails are in each one of my plans. I said, you know how many nails to order for each plan? He says, I know how many nails go into each plan. And I said, well, why is that important? He says, because once we figure out that a certain number of nails gives us maximum strength in putting this building together, maximum efficiency, any more nails doesn't make it stronger. It just costs us more money. Was he telling me the truth, Michael?
Oh, yes, sir, definitely. And also makes your wood weaker as you're splitting it. So
There you go. There you go. So money's the same way. There's a point at which more is too much when you're trying to save the maximum amount of interest per dollar and gain equity at the lowest cost possible. Does that make sense now?
it does. One other question, whether you have 5, 10, or 15 rentals, would you also throw your personal mortgage into the pot with the same scenario, or would you leave it separate?
That is a tax question. And there is a way to include your personal residence in all of this. But since I can't give tax advice because I could get in trouble, you talk to your accountant and they'll help you to work it all out. And the short answer is yes, but I can't give advice as to how to do it. I can work with you and your tax person and we'll put it all together for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Because see, we don't want to pierce your corporate veil by mixing, funds. So here's what we're talking about here, sir. By paying this much prepay of $4,039.89, are you seeing future interest savings here?
Yes, definitely.
$46,988.07 in interest saved by putting much down. And the reason why the program chooses this particular loan, let's see why it chose loan number 9. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go over to accounts and we're going to look at payment number, mortgage number 9. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down. Oh, here's the 9th mortgage. Look at this. 6.5% interest rate on $487,000. We open this up and we can see over to the left. Do you see how tiny these principal payments are?
Yes.
$213. So the program says if I take this approximately $213 to $215 a principal payment and add it in and divide it into the $4,000, I can kill that many interest payments, which average around $2,600 a month. So the program is saying, give me the tiny principal payments so I can kill the maximum amount of interest and the maximum amount of months on a particular loan. And guess what? If I focus on this loan long enough, then this loan will actually become cheaper than the other loans in my portfolio to manage. And it's time to stop focusing on that loan and switch to another one. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Very interesting. Thank you.
All right. Do you have any other questions for me, sir?
No, sir. Good information. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, listen, we're gonna not only tell you, but we're gonna tell everybody else on stage how they can get what's called a savings and earnings report. Remember that form that I showed you about the other gentleman with the 2 mortgages? That's a savings and earnings report. Everybody can get one. All you have to do is click on the button right above our heads and it says ice10kreport.com, ice10kreport.com. And then you can put in all of your information about your personal residence, and if you're a real estate investor, all your other loans can be put in there. Just give us the information that we're asking for. And then someone from my staff will give you a call and set up a consultation. You can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free on all of your debt, and how much interest you could save. And then let's talk about how you can take the interest saved and reinvest it into more doors as part of our conversation. Now, if you are a real estate investor, you're really not interested in paying off the loans, but when it makes sense to cash out refi at a much lower interest cost, 7 to 10 years sooner, then we have special coaches that work with you on our program to help you to determine when that would be as well. So go ahead, click on ice10kreport.com and then fill out the form there. Then we will get together with you and you'll know exactly how much interest you could save and how to increase profitability if you are a residential owner or if you are a real estate investor. Michael, thank you so very much for coming to the stage.
Thanks for your time, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right, Jared, who's next?
All right. So I'm testing out my desktop. How do I sound right now, Don?
Ooh, my goodness. Way better.
Awesome. So again, I just want to remind everybody your hallway is curated by who you follow. So make sure that you click on Don's profile, give him a follow. And if you want to see when he pops into other rooms, make sure that you click that bell icon next to his follow button and click the always on instead of sometimes. And I highly recommend you do the same thing for myself, Credit Goddess, Kelly Russell, Kenyatta, and Lisa Martin. They all host amazing rooms on Clubhouse. And if you want to see more quality content on your hallway, then definitely make sure to follow everybody that's on this stage and check out the people in the audience as well. We got Leia, I believe that's how you say her name, up next. But before we go to her, I would like for Kenyatta and Lisa to quickly introduce themselves, and then we can move to the next question. So Kenyatta, please go for it.
Good morning, good people. My name is Kenyatta. You can find me at kenyatta10k.com. And I am passionate about helping you to build generational wealth through real estate, whether that's finding your deal, financing your deal, helping you to cancel the interest on that deal to get you in yet another deal. And I just want to say that you are in the place to be. So ping friends in the next time you in this room, share this room, because you guys, this is actually a way that you can combat inflation. So I'm happy to be here and have a great day.
Awesome. Lisa, are you available? Lisa might be away. So let's go ahead and go to the next question on stage. Definitely getting used to navigating this on the desktop. So Leia, thank you so much for your patience. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, great. Thank you. So I'm excited to be here this morning because I've been on Clubhouse for some time and I've seen all of these, you know, moderators and they have this 10K card and I'm like, I don't know what it is. So I'm excited to have an opportunity to get one. Um, but can you explain it, what the 10K card is? And I also see a 10X card. So I believe Lisa has a 10X card. So that's one question. But then I also have for Don a question regarding how does the P.I.L.L method work for student loans and car payments and mortgage for our personal lives outside of being real estate investors.
Okay, so what we're going to do first, I'm going to have Miss Kenyatta go over how the 10K card works. And if you can see, did you click on the link above our heads here that says the P.I.L.L method Clubhouse simulcast? Did you see that?
I did.
That's an example of a 10K card. You can set that thing up any way you want for any business that you want or any number of businesses that you want. It is
Okay.
it is a digital business card. And they're going to explain to you a little bit about that. And I'm going to get some information about student loans so I can put it up on the screen while she's telling you about it. Also, Kenyatta, I promised Michael and I promised Leia that if they come up and ask a question, they can get their 10K card. So we want to get their, make sure we get their bio information so we can get that over to the team. So, Ms. Kenyatta, can you explain to Ms. Leah how a 10K card works and how valuable it is?
Yes, the 10K card is valuable. I take it everywhere to every networking event because I used to carry around paper cards in my purse and it'll get all messed up with my makeup, what have you. And so now I don't have those problems. I don't have a problem of having to bring the right amount in case I go to a convention with 3,000 people because I could just airdrop it and I can send it to whomever, whenever. It's a talking point. People love it. And so it makes me stand out. And my favorite part is we get to actually engage, right? So often you just hand a person a card, it's really awkward, you walk away, but I actually take their phone and save it in their contacts. It's just creating another touch point. And so I really, really love using the 10K card.
Yeah, and this is Jared speaking. One quick point is, like Kenyatta said, in person. So whenever I go to in-person events, I can actually pull out the 10K card and pull out the QR code, so people can just turn on their camera, scan the QR code. It takes them straight to my 10K card. From there, I can add to their contacts and all of my links, my social media, and then if I want to, I can manually type in my phone number, can automatically be added. It has my profile picture, my business name. So like for in-person events, it's very powerful. I did a speaking engagement with Don. He had a really great conference with Dr. Eric Thomas recently. And a lot of people had 10K card QR codes up on the screen right next to them, so that if everybody wants to get in touch with them, they would just pull out their camera, scan that QR code, and we're able to get in touch with them. And then on Clubhouse, as you can see, putting your 10K card at the top of the screen, people can click it. And then from there, if you click on Don's 10K card, you can see that you can go to the Savings and Earnings Report. You can also buy his book. And there's also a link to, if you buy the book, screenshot that receipt, and then you can upload it into the request form and get a basic 10K card. So the 10K card has a ton of different uses. So if you're interested in getting one, through this room only, Don has a best-selling book where if you purchase that best-selling book, you'll get some amazing information. Not only that, you can screenshot the receipt of your purchase, go to step 3 in the 10K card that says I'm ready. And then there you can get a basic 10K card, just like Leia and Michael are getting right now. So Don, I think that's a good segue just to quickly talk about the book. And then from there, we'll get into the student loan example that you'll put up on the screen.
Excellent, folks. Hey, listen, folks, what we're talking about is something that is, for some folks, it is completely foreign because we've never had a class on how loans actually work. All right. And so I have a book out. It's called P.I.L.L Method, A Better Way to Eliminate Debt. And out of 33 million titles, it is the only one that goes over how to read an amortization schedule and how to defeat it. Only one out of all of those books that are on Amazon. And it's been a #1 bestseller 5 times over. 5-time bestseller on Amazon. So folks, I'm here to tell you that if you want to know more about this system and how the basics of how it works and why you need a system like this, and understanding how the basics of our opportunity cost calculator are artificially intelligent computing system that does all the math and directs you specifically as to what to do and when. Oh my gosh, it's in this book. And it's written so that a 7th grader can understand how money and loans actually work. Oh my goodness. So listen, we all need this information, but guess what? We need to be teaching it to our children, because when we were in 7th grade, I guarantee you this information was not available. Now, how do I know that? I'm going to go just touch on this just a bit. There's a lot of information out there on YouTube. Here's where you will not see. You will not see people who are copying this information, and you will not see the way that we teach how amortization schedules work and how to defeat them, you won't see anybody else talking about it. The reason why is I own the copyright. They would have to pay me. Because people have asked me, why doesn't Susie Orman talk about this? Why doesn't Dave Ramsey talk about this? Because they don't own the rights. They'd have to pay me to talk about it. So that's why. So listen, folks, I'm just trying to say that this is the only place you're going to get this information, from me or from my book. So listen, if you want to teach something that is going to be great for you, for growing generational wealth and handing this information down to your children or your grandchildren or your nieces and nephews or whatever, get it to the young people so that you can explain it to them, how they can stop spending all of this money on interest when you don't have to. Thank you very much. So I'm almost ready to talk about student loan larceny. Miss Leah, would you like to see something about student loans this morning?
Yes, please, because the student loans have been the vein of my existence.
Listen, they're like household pets that never go away.
Yes.
All right. Did you see the other example I gave on how we can eliminate interest by using prepayments?
I did, and I know you're going to go over the student loans.
Yes.
But I'm before you even start, I'm listening from the perspective of having student loans, having car loan,
Mm-hmm.
and as well as a mortgage. So I'm assuming that all of those things can be prioritized in the same way you use in the example you use with Michael.
Okay, so
Is that correct?
that is also correct. Can
Awesome.
I just tell you the good part first?
Lay it on me.
Oh, there you go. Here you go. The average client who has their student loans and mortgage and car loans pays off all of their debt, everything, including the 30-year mortgage, in 7 to 9 years. That's everything. Miss Leah, are you still there?
I'm here. I'm not going nowhere.
Okay, so we're going to put this on. We're going to go ahead and put this on the screen, and I'll show you a little bit about what we call. All right, now because I can no longer see. Wait a second here. I can no longer see my other screen, so I can't see what you're seeing.
I see student loan larceny.
There you go. All right. So let's go over and you're going to see why we call it student loan larceny. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. Now I met a gentleman. I said, I live in Huntsville, Alabama. All right. Are you familiar with Huntsville?
I'm familiar that it's in Alabama.
Okay. All right. So, and this young man was graduating from Oak University right here in Huntsville, Alabama. My wife used to work at Oakwood University, so I get to talk to the students there and in the dorm. And this is a guy who used to live in Edwards Hall. But anyway, he was graduating, and he had a student loan of only $9,500. That was it. Very fortunate.
Yeah, that's yeah. I
All right. So he says, Mr. Daniel, he heard me in the dorm, and he came and he gave me a call, because at the time I was giving out paper cards. I didn't have the 10K card at that time. I was giving out paper cards. So he actually called me, and he says, I just got a job. I got a new car. But I still have the student loan. I want to be able to pay them both off in the most efficient manner. Okay. I said, okay, let's take a look at your student loan. So he had a $9,500 at 6%. He had a income-based payment of $50 a month. Okay. So tell me, Miss Leah, just taking a look at this information, how long, and I just need you to guess, not do any math, how long do you think it would take him to pay off $9,500 at $50 a month at a 6% interest rate? What's your guess?
Um, mm, this is a little difficult
Well, no,
for
don't
me
do the
because
math.
the numbers are so low.
Yeah,
Um,
just give me a guess.
ah, 10 years.
10 years. Okay. I love that guess. Let me show you what's going on here, okay? So when we take a look at this, we want to know how many years it's actually going to take. So when we do the math, all right, and see, this is why I'm saying that amortizing these loans just does crazy things to the loan. $9,500. It would take dun, da, 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 how many months to pay this off, Miss Leah, when it pops on the screen?
Ooh, 601 months?
If you do the math, divide that by
My
12,
God.
how many years is that?
Whew,
It's on the screen.
50 years.
50
Wow.
years. That's what they wanted to do to this young man. 50
Mm.
years at $50 a month, 6%. So here's how it breaks down. So if what the bank wanted to charge him on a $9,500 loan was $20,550 in interest for a total payback of $30,050. That's what they wanted to do. Your total interest paid on this loan as a percentage of principal is 216.316%. And folks, if there's anybody new in our audience that wants to see this example, oh my goodness, you really want to go to ice10k videos.com. ice10kvideos.com and watch this on YouTube. And when you're there, go ahead and click that subscribe button. All right. And click on the bell so that you'll be notified anytime we have a brand new show that comes up. And we have over 90 shows up right now. Okay. So, Miss Leah, what do you think about these numbers on here? Aren't they crazy numbers? If you're speaking, you're on mute.
Hey, Leah, sorry, there was
What I
feedback.
think what I think of those numbers is criminal.
Okay. So, all right. So here's what we're going to be doing. So I need you to take a look at this. So let's take a look at payment number 1 on our system. Okay.
Okay.
So out of this first payment this young man was going to make of $50, how much of that money at 6% interest, how much of that money goes to principal out of $50?
Um, how much goes to print? $2.50.
That's it.
Ooh,
And how much goes to interest?
$47.50.
But guess what, Miss Leah? Because he paid it down by $2.50, it gets better the next month. How much interest is he going to pay next month?
Two $47.49.
Is it? And you said that's criminal.
I did.
And most people are unaware this is how their loans actually work. Totally unaware. So let's learn something today. Okay?
If you work in sales, and you're not making
sorry about
10
that.
to 30,000.
All right, sorry about that. I need to get this on so I can see what you guys are seeing, so I don't get too far ahead. So I have to watch myself on YouTube. So even I'm watching YouTube right now, everybody. So Miss Leah, so based on what you've learned so far, okay? So if in payment number 1, he makes $2.50 go to principal, $47.50, and let's say we made that payment this month. All right. What is next month's principal payment based on this schedule?
$47.
No, that's the interest payment. How much is the principal payment?
Oh, the principal payment is $253. Is that month 3?
Number 2. It's
$2.51.
$2.51. That's next month. So does he have to wait till next month to give the bank that $2.51?
He does not.
No, he does not. What if he wanted to pay that $2.51 and gave it to the bank this month? Would they apply that to principal?
Yes.
Would he be paid down to, watch this, Watch this. I'm going to put the things on the screen right now. He's going to pay the $2.51 right away, pay $47.50 in interest. He's going to be paid down to the principal balance on line one, $9,497.50. So if he paid the bank the $2.51 as well in the same month, would he be paid down to line two this month?
Yes.
Yes. So he would owe $9,494.99, wouldn't he?
Yes.
And guess what? Since he's already paid down to line two, his new payment for next month will actually be on line three of the schedule, where he pays $253 and $47.47. Do you see that?
Yes.
Now, what just happened? He got rid of line two out of this amortization schedule that's trying to keep him in debt forever. He got rid of line two for just $2.51. Isn't that amazing?
Mm-hmm.
This is why they don't teach this in seventh grade. Now, what we just went over, would a seventh grader be able to understand this just by paying the $2.51? Then why don't they teach this in seventh grade?
That's a different conversation. They don't want us out of debt.
All right. So if we do that, oh my goodness. So now let's say we give the bank the $2.51 early. Guess what happens? What happens to this $47.49 that I'm pointing at right now? What happens to that $47.49 if I give them $2.51 early?
It goes away.
It goes away. It's the interest on the loans that make it impossible, not the loan itself. Listen, I would love to borrow $9,500, and I would love to pay no interest on it. Wouldn't you?
Yep.
Because it's the interest that's making your loans last forever. But what if you have a way of beating that interest? So if we could pay $2.51 early, now I need you to look at column 3. That's cumulative principal. Are you seeing that?
Uh-huh.
Column 3. Well, let's take a look at column 3, and I'm going to point something else out to you. Now, I have encircled on line 12 cumulative principal for 1 year. How much money will this loan be paid down by in 1 year?
$30.84.
Oh my goodness. Here's my question. Do I have to pay the $30.84 in 12 monthly installments?
No.
If I had it, could I give the bank the $30.84 on line 1?
Yes.
If I did, would I be paid down to line 12 on this amortization schedule in just 1 month?
Yes.
That's called a prepayment. What would happen to all the interest payments inside the red rectangle? What would happen to all those interest payments?
They go away.
They go away. So I can pay everything. I can just make my regular mortgage, my mortgage payment, my regular student loan payment on line 1, give the bank this $30.84 and be paid down to line 12 in just 1 month. What would prevent me from doing that if I had the money?
Nothing.
Nothing.
So just for clarification,
Yes,
Don.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So for that first payment,
Mm-hmm.
Here in your example, the principal is $2.50 and the interest is $47.50.
Mm-hmm.
For that, if we wanted to pay off the first 12 payments.
Yes.
In the first payment, will we give them the $50 plus the $30.84?
Yes, ma'am, we would. Yes, ma'am, we would.
Okay, and then and in doing that, do we because I know sometimes we have to make sure that they apply it as we intend them to, because if we don't give them special instructions, they do what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to tell them a prepayment, or do we give them a principal only payment?
We definitely have to tell the bank if it's a mortgage, especially if you are if you have an escrow account. Any other loan, you don't have to do that. Any extra money that month goes to principal. It's automatic because they have to put it somewhere. And the only place they can put it is on the principal. When you have a mortgage with a escrow account, they have two places to put that money. They can apply it to principal or they can put it in your escrow account. All the banks that I know, their default is to put that money in the escrow account. Therefore, you have to tell them, I don't want it to go to the escrow account. I want it to go to principal.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
it does.
So the reason why there's a default that goes to the default is to put it in your escrow account is because they know how little money it takes to kill a whole lot of interest. And that's the bank owners know that. Do you realize the people that work in the bank, they don't know this either?
Oh, I'm very clear. I'm a, I'm a finance expert over 30 years, and I have never seen this. And
Le-
I've written policies for banks.
Miss Layla, oh, listen, Leah. So stop the presses. Stop the presses right here. So this is what you do, and your education, this was not part of your education. It was left out.
Um, Executive MBA in International Business and Finance. Not included.
Oh my, I've been telling people that for years, and some people don't believe me. Miss Leah, you are helping so many people today. Listen, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, so I'm not going to go down that road. But there is a reason why the general public is not taught how a loan actually works.
Well, I can tell you one thing school doesn't teach you.
Yes, ma'am. What is that?
School does not teach you how to make money.
You got that right. You know,
Or spend it.
They teach us how to be consumers. All right. Go home.
And employees.
And employees. All right. Go to work, come home, watch TV, see a few commercials, and go out and buy something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening here. But isn't this good to know?
This is absolutely fantastic to know.
Oh, listen.
Because I can tell you that for my car note, I pay extra on it every month, but I was paying the extra interest, not I was doing principal payments only, but I wasn't calculating it based on the principal amount. I was calculating it based on the interest amount. And with that being the case, I'm actually paying a lot more
than you actually need to. Yeah.
Than I need to. Yeah.
So when somebody's double up on their payments, they double up on the entire payment, not just the principal portion. And here's what's going on with that. When you pay that extra on your car note, now car notes are different from mortgages. Okay. When you pay extra on your car note, you get a notice in the mail saying, oh, you don't owe us a whole payment this month. You only owe us a fraction of the whole payment. Is that correct?
No, they don't even send you that. They just say, okay, thank you. And they don't, unless I go back and tell them, because I've been doing this for some months now. Or if I ask them for another amortization schedule, you don't really see it.
Oh my goodness. So are you telling me the same thing I've been telling people for the last 16 years? When you pay extra on your loan, they don't send you a receipt saying, here's how much interest you saved and here's how much time you knocked off?
No.
Boy, oh boy. But when you go shopping at your department store and you buy some stuff on sale, because that's the only stuff my wife will let me buy is the stuff that's on sale. Okay. They print at the bottom of the receipt how much interest you saved. Don't they? I'm sorry. How much money you saved, correct?
How much money you saved, yes.
And why do they do that? Why do they print at the bottom of the receipt when you go to the department store how much money you saved?
I don't actually know the answer to that.
Okay. Well, does it make you feel good to actually save some money?
Yes,
Oh,
I guess it's to get an emotional response.
exactly. Exactly. So then if your department store can do it and your grocery store actually does it too, okay? Why doesn't your bank do it? Why doesn't your credit union or your credit card company? Why don't they do it? Because they don't want you to know that $2.50 will wipe out one payment on this loan and save you $47.49 in interest. Because you would get some ideas, wouldn't you?
Yep.
You would find out that you could save $569 in interest that you never have to pay, knock out 1 year's worth of payments, and your next loan payment would actually be next month, would not be on line 2, but would be on line 13 of this schedule. Wouldn't that be good to know?
Yes.
Well, listen, we're going to go just a little bit farther. Since we know this, listen, what would happen? All right, okay, wait a second here. What would happen if I went down to line 25 on the amortization schedule and not stopped at $30? What if I just gave them do you think I might be able to find an extra $66.39
Yeah.
and knock out over 2 years worth of payments and save $1,183.61 in interest?
That's a tank of gas in the.
Listen, when I leave my studio today, I've already checked Gas Buddy, and our favorite gas station is like 4.49 right now. So I'm looking all over. So I'm looking at Gas Buddy to see where I'm going to fill up my wife's car and my car today.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. It's going to cost me over $100 to fill up my car. But listen, folks,
Yep.
$66.39 applied to this loan will knock out 2 years worth of payments once you know how to read an amortization schedule, how it really, really works. Miss Leah, what do you think about the information today?
I'm excited. I am absolutely excited. Um, I just, you've mentioned that there's a few differences
Mhm.
between a car loan, a student loan,
Yes.
and a mortgage loan.
Yes.
Can you kind of go over what those differences are when it comes to using the amortization schedule to, using the P.I.L.L method or any method,
Very
actually?
good. Very good. Your mortgage only accepts full payments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when, let's say you've heard of a biweekly payment on a mortgage.
Yes.
Well, when you pay the first payment on the first and then the next payment on the 15th, the bank actually holds that first payment. And when you give them the second payment, that's when they apply it. So
Okay.
you can't pay it in chunks like that. Mortgages only accept full payments, and then you can do something now. But your car loan, and this is how I learned that that interest cancellation actually works. If your bank or your credit union, if their software is set up for it, if your payment is $400 a month, they will actually take from you, if you ask them, $100 a week and apply money to principal and interest each week, so that you don't so that you don't add up 30 days of compounded interest for a month and then pay your principal and interest. You can do it over 7 days. So you're going to end up, out of the same payment, you're going to pay less interest because you're bringing down the principal balance on which they calculate the interest amount that you pay each day. You're bringing it down throughout the month. So it makes it impossible for them to charge you all of that interest. A car payment, credit card payments, HELOCs, all of those loans work the same way on the average daily balance. And you pay interest based on that. So that's the main difference between the mortgage and your car loan. What do you think?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So hold on.
Go ahead.
With the car loan,
Mhm.
so they do accept partial payments, which can bring down the interest faster.
Most of them do, but you have to ask if they're set up for that.
Okay.
Yep.
So are you saying that we can make a payment on these loans? Okay, so with a credit card, we can tell them we're making a principal payment only as well?
Oh yeah. It's called a prepayment. Anytime you've completed your minimum payment to the card, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you give them any extra money within that same month. It's called a prepayment. It's giving them money before the next payment is due.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you do that, it goes straight to principal
Okay.
and it saves you interest.
So with things like a car with a car loan and a mortgage
Mhm.
and even a student loan, we can get an amortization schedule.
Yes, but each
But
time
with a credit card we don't.
yes, you can, but it's more
Okay.
difficult for a credit card. Here's why, and this is why we have a computer that does all of this work for us. Okay,
Okay. Yes.
let me show you something about a credit card. So I'm getting out of this.
Hey Don, real quick.
Go ahead.
There's people in the chat saying your volume's a little low, so just wanted to give you a heads up.
All right. Okay, folks, how's my volume now? I think I pumped it up. How are we sounding now? Give us.
It sounded good to me originally, but is anybody else got?
All right.
Here?
Anybody that's on Clubhouse, put it in the chat if you can hear me okay now, if it's better.
All right, they say it's better now.
Thank you. So yeah, listen, I'm over here talking, I'm having such a good time, and I should be paying attention to all my buttons and switches and stuff, but sometimes I don't. So I apologize. All right. So what was I talking about?
We were talking about the amortization schedules for the different types of loans.
Yes. And so what we need to be able to point out, Ms. Leah, is when we are looking at the different types of loans, there's just the average client, my average client or the average citizen has about 13 different debts. The average family has about 13 different debts. And it could be credit cards, it could be student loans, car loans, mortgages, when you add it all together, okay? So there's a lot going on. When you get an amortization schedule for each one, did you realize even if you pay an extra dime to principal, it destroys that amortization schedule and you need a new one every single time?
Yes.
Okay. So instead of that, what we do is this. I have a program that runs all of these, and I can put any number of loans in here. And in the background of this program, it keeps track of all the amortization schedules. And anytime you pay extra, it automatically updates it in the program and tells you exactly what to do and when. So in this case, I pointed out there's 10 mortgages in here. That means 10 variables. Let me give you an idea of what it means to have 10 variables. So I put on the screen before that if you have 10 variables, that means there are thousands of different ways to line up these variables to figure out which one do I do first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Okay. So there's over 3,628,800 different ways to arrange these variables. Can I tell you a little story about what that really means? I need you to picture a bookshelf with 10 books on it. Okay. Just 10 books. And I'm going to hire you to arrange that bookshelf for me. And I need you to arrange that bookshelf in every possible configuration. The first one is going to be book number 1 through 10 sitting on the shelf. And then you're going to change it around. So you're going to we'll do book 2 first, and then number 1, then the rest of them. So we want you to do every book in every single position that it possibly can be in. So you'll have 3,628,000 different ways of doing that bookshelf. If I gave you 3 minutes to arrange that bookshelf, to give me a new configuration, and you worked on that 30 hours a week, do you realize it would take you over 100 years to rearrange that bookshelf? That's how many choices have to be made. And what we've been told is a simple operation in paying back loans and saving money. It's not simple at all. We have taken something very complicated and simplified it using a computer to do all of the math. But it is not simple by any stretch of the imagination. So when you're paying off a loan, do you need a computer to pay extra on a loan? The answer is no. Do you need a computer to tell you how much to pay on a loan? The answer, again, also no. But if you want to save the maximum amount of interest that your budget can save you, you better believe you need a computer to figure it all out so you can optimize the use of your money. Ms. Leah, does that help?
It does.
So you kind of like this idea?
I do. Can I ask one last question?
Yes, ma'am.
So you've used the example of having 10 loans and, the average family having 13 different debts. For someone like me who's single now, I just got 3, right? I have student loans, car loan, mortgage. If I go in and I calculate this, is it possible for it to be less than 7 years to be paid off?
Yes, I had a client just send us an email. Okay, send us an email saying thank you. Let's see, saying thank you very much. That hold on for just a second here. Take that off the screen for me. Thanks. All right. Thank you very much for helping us to pay off $310,000 in 3.6 years. It's all individual. When I say 7 to 10 years, I always say in an average of 7 to 10 years. Some people are less, some people are more. So what we're looking at is how much money you have to work with in what we're doing. And when you tell us your entire story, saying, Don, I want to be able to pay off my debt. I want to try to do it in this amount of time. But I also, at this stage of my life, I still want to go on 2 or 3 vacations a year. I still want to make sure I'm investing into my future. And when you tell me everything you have to do, we plug all of that in, and it tells us how we can do everything you want to do and still get you out of debt in a decent amount of time by saving interest.
Awesome.
So you tell us your story, we come up with a plan, plug it into the computer system, and the computer system tells us month by month what to do. And the reason why it is so difficult and why we can't use a spreadsheet is because spreadsheets use constant numbers. I mean, they're constant, meaning when your electricity bill changes by $5 from month to month, do you realize that throws all the calculations off and we have to do new calculations? Well, the computer doesn't care. You just give the computer the numbers. It gives you new calculations and says, oh, we gave you these instructions. Now that your this $5 different, we now need to recalculate. It only takes it about 2 or 3 seconds. And so here's your new instructions based on your electric bill. How about that?
Awesome.
Yeah. So
who do I contact for the 10K card, and how do I get in contact with you directly?
all right. So
Because I'm ready to go.
You ready to go? All right. So
I'm ready to do this, not get off.
Do you see where it says that report up there, ICE 10K report?
Yes.
You can write that down and put that. You can click on it on your phone, or you can actually put it into your browser on your computer. ice10kreport.com. That will take you to my website. And then follow the instructions, and then it will let you into our financial form. And the instructions basically are these. Put in your information that it asks for, including your cell phone number. And by clicking on confirm, our program will send a code to your messages on your cell phone. Wait for the code, get the code, put the code back into the program, confirm the code, and then it'll ask you, do you want to save now? Then you say, yes, I want to save now. And then it will let you into the form. All right. Fill out the form, and someone from my staff will give you a call and confirming all the information, and then set up a consultation. Then you'll know the month, day, and year you'll be debt free and how much interest you can save.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
And Leah,
And
when
I,
it comes to the 10K card, I just sent you a back channel to a form. Just fill out that form, and I've also sent your profile to 10K's team to let them know that you'll be filling that out, and you are one of the folks that got the 10K card for asking a question. So fill out that form, and you'll get a 10K card sent to the email that you put into the form.
okay, yeah, I have to actually put some information in my profile. So
Well, that's why
thank you. Thank you guys.
that's why I probably sent you the form, so you can fill some stuff out for us, so that we can actually get you information on your 10K card. Okay.
Awesome. This
Miss
was fantastic. I appreciate you guys.
Miss Leah, did you like this information?
I love this information.
Listen, do you know who Dr. Eric Thomas is?
I do.
Do you know he loves this information as well?
He should. I
Listen,
mean, this is how we can get free.
listen. 2 weeks ago today, he actually he came to a conference that I was holding in Nashville, Tennessee. He was my keynote speaker. And while he was up speaking, you know, he just does a fantastic job of motivating the crowd. Okay.
Right.
I want you to, if you're on YouTube, you want to see this. If you're on Clubhouse, you want to listen very closely for the next minute or so, because here is what, and if you want to see it, you want to go to ice10kvideos.com, ice10kvideos.com, and you want to see and hear what Dr. Eric Thomas said about my program just 2 weeks ago. Roll it.
Listen to me, y'all. I didn't even know he was responsible. But one of his mentees, probably about 4 years ago, maybe, took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. And so when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest. Do me a favor, take these principles and use them. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. I love you guys. Take care.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Leah, everybody. Listen, folks, everybody in the room was surprised to hear, even me. I was even surprised because I taught this to somebody who was in my employ years ago, who taught it to him. He didn't even know the company belonged to me. I didn't know that he knew until 2 weeks ago. Complete surprise. But guess what? Their team, ET's team, has given us permission to use that clip far and wide. Miss Leah, what do you think about that?
I think kudos to you. Kudos to you for doing and teaching what you've been doing for several years now. And I'm very clear that every blessing that you are due is on its way. So thank you for just being who you are, because you don't have to be on Clubhouse this morning for free. So I appreciate you.
Miss Leah, thank you so much for coming to the stage. You helped a ton of people today. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you one-on-one. Just contact our office in the way that and all of our information is there. And I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you so much.
Same here. Thank you, guys.
Jared, back to you, sir. What's next?
All right, so we have two more questions on the stage, and I know that we typically wrap up in about 8 minutes. So we'll see what we can do to quickly address them. But before we do, I want to welcome Benicia to the stage and give her the opportunity to just introduce herself, let people know what she does, and how they can get in touch with her if they'd like to. So Benicia, please.
Hey guys, hope all is well. My name is Benicia and I own a bank. It is a Black-owned bank. I'm the sole owner. It's nationwide, doing mortgages for commercial and residential real estate. And I also own a real estate company. I'm licensed as well, and the company serves about 25 states across the United States, all the hot markets. So I've been in real estate for over 20 years, developing, building, investing, and all that good stuff. Thank you for having me.
I get chills every time I hear a young Black woman owns a bank and a real estate company. Lord have mercy. I just get so excited every time I hear it. Thank you so much for gracing our stage.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So Jesse Real, thank you for your patience. Please unmic and let us know what your question is. All right, so let's go with Kevin. Kevin, thank you so much for coming to the stage. Please let us know what your question is.
Thank you. I didn't have a question. I was listening to ICE, and I sell real estate. I've talked to my clients all the time about making an extra mortgage payment every year and things like that, but I had no idea, I'll be very honest with you, outside of regurgitating information, what the effects of that actually were. And like I said, I've been selling luxury real estate for a long time. I actually have a background in finance, and what ICE broke down in 12 minutes that I've been sitting in this room is probably the most detailed and simple way I have ever seen something like that explained, to the point that it was just like a light bulb went off, and I had to just give him props. I gave him a follow. It's the first time I've seen him on stage or been in a room with you guys, and I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for sharing, for giving it away, for explaining, and I will definitely be doing some more research and following you and looking into your stuff. And I just wanted to throw some gratitude your way for a nice way to wake up in Los Angeles. Thank you.
Kevin, thank you so much for coming to the stage and saying that. I just have a quick question for you, if I may.
Please go right ahead.
Once you do your research, once you vet us completely out, because the harder you look, the better we look. Once you do that, would it be good to add to your advertising, work with me and pay off your mortgage in an average of 7 to 9 years instead of 30 years to never?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. Thank you for coming to the stage. All right, Jared, back to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, so I think that will pretty much wrap up today's episode. This room goes by so fast. We've been here for 2 hours. Thank you to everybody that's come up and asked a question. Thank you to everybody that's been in the audience the entire time. Thank you to everybody that shared the room. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and do some moderator outros. But before we do, I want Don and also want to thank the Mortgage Syndicate for allowing us to do this room in their club. So if you're not part of the Mortgage Syndicate, make sure you click that greenhouse and follow this club. They do a lot of amazing content throughout the week, and are big supporters of Don. So we want to support them back. So make sure you're following them. And then make sure to follow Don and Credit Goddess and Kenyatta and Lisa and Benicia. They all host amazing rooms on Clubhouse. They do amazing things off of Clubhouse. And your hallway in your network is based off of who you follow. So if you want to see some amazing rooms in your hallway, make sure to follow all of these amazing moderators. And when it comes to Don, I highly recommend you click that bell icon next to the follow button and click always instead of sometimes, so that you're always alerted whenever he's on a stage giving away this valuable information that can save you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So before we go to the moderator outros, Don, just want to give you one more chance just to remind everybody how they can work with you, as well as anything else you want to, promote.
Listen, I want to ask a question here because I'm seeing something that's very interesting here, Jared, that we're surrounded by successful women in finance. And here's my question. As a man, can I be successful in finance too?
I think so.
But I'm telling you, because every week, every day we do a show, we're outnumbered by the women in finance. What's going on? I love it. I absolutely love it. All right. So folks, my name is Don Daniel. And for the last 16 years, we've been teaching people how to understand how loans actually work. And it is not because I sat down and said, let me figure all of this out. It's because I'm on the autism spectrum. It's called autism spectrum disorder. Some people call it that. Some people call it Asperger's. Some people just call it autism. The point of the matter is that what some people call a disorder, we call a superpower. Because when I take a look at an amortization schedule, I see the patterns. I see things in pictures. I don't do math very well, but I do understand patterns and how they line up and how these patterns can benefit me. I look at it as a puzzle and putting back that puzzle in a way that benefits us as opposed to benefiting the bank. Please take advantage of this superpower that God has given me so that you can now understand how a loan actually works. And the basics are contained in my book, which is another miracle in itself, because not only am I on autism spectrum disorder, I have ADHD. And because of that, and growing up when I grew up, it wasn't diagnosed until I was in my 50s. I never read a book all the way through until I was age 46. So here's a guy who never read a book all the way through, but actually has written a book, the only book of its kind on Amazon out of 33 million titles. It has been a 5-time bestseller, a guy who never read a book until he was 46 years of age. Folks, how do I take credit for that? I do not. What I have is a God-given gift. And so I can hand it over because I did not sit down and say, figure this thing out. It wasn't like when they invented the light bulb and tried 10,000 different ways until I figured it out. No, it was given to me as a gift. So when I see it, it pops out at me. And that is not something I work at. It's just something that happens. So I'm sharing it with you. And we got some talented people that can write computer programs that put it all together for you so that you can now not only understand what's going on, but you can save a ton of interest and pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years. Take the interest that you saved and invest that into creating generational wealth. Stop spending your children's inheritance on interest and invest it in your family. That's what we talk about here. Thank you so much, Jared. Let's go with the moderator outros.
All right. So let's go ahead and go from top to bottom this time. So Credit Goddess, if you're around, please do a quick outro. All right, Credit Goddess might be multitasking at the moment, but if you want the best credit information on Clubhouse, you definitely want to make sure you're following her. Check out her bio. You can text your name and email to the number that's in her bio. And you can also check out her website as well. Looks like Kenyatta is on the phone at the moment, but Kenyatta is our official financial service provider of the P.I.L.L Method Club and P.I.L.L Method Room. So if you're looking to get lending for your commercial property or anything that she provides in her bio, make sure to tap in with her, give her a follow as well. And Lisa, or Kenyatta, are you around? See these phones. There
I
she goes.
am. I am. As always, we appreciate your presence and pray that we've earned the privilege of your time. Jared just gave you a rundown of my services, so feel free to contact me again, kenyatta10k.com, for any of your financing needs.
All right, perfect. And Lisa, are you around to do a quick outro?
Yes. Hey, Jared. This is Lisa Martin. I am in Houston, Texas. I am in the technology space. I build software applications that manage the water and energy utility structures. Sorry, I have a red
Yeah, yeah.
bar.
It's
I'm not
breaking
sure
up
if
pretty
you
badly.
can hear me, but I love listening to Dawn's teaching. I think I have a glimpse of it for free.
Absolutely. Hey, Lisa, sorry, you're breaking up pretty badly, but definitely make sure you check out her bio. She's CEO president of GIS Web3 Water Technology. She has multiple women-owned businesses. You can check her out at 10xlisa.com. And yeah, check out her bio, tap in with her, give her a follow, and check out her replays. And Benicia, you just did an outro, but is there anything else you want to add to, your outro before we close out the room?
No, I just happy to be on the stage and amongst friends and financing is something that we all need to know about. So I think that it's empowering and I appreciate the room.
Awesome. And I'll go last. My name's Jared Albritton. I'm pretty active on this app. I like to support rooms that have financial empowerment, generational wealth building, or connect you to real life opportunities where you can make money like as soon as you take the information and apply it. The thing that I focused on is diversity in tech. I've been in the tech space for over 15 years. So I actually have a room coming up on Tuesday, which is pretty popular. It's called CH Tech Careers Spotlight. We'll have 30 to 40 recruiters on stage from Google to Amazon to Meta to Twitter to LinkedIn, etc. They'll be offering roles right now that they're hiring for. You can come on stage and shoot your shot or ask questions. We had over 100 people get tech jobs in 2021 through this room, and I've expanded this to LinkedIn and Twitter, where I do Twitter Spaces as well. Also have a room called Web 3.0 Opportunity Spotlight, where we highlight job opportunities in the Web 3.0 crypto and NFT space. If you look in my bio, you'll see a room I did on Thursday, had over 2,100 people in the room. So if you check out my replays, you can kind of learn what I'm about. And if you want to be in those rooms in real time when I have them, feel free to give me a follow and you will be alerted with the rooms that I do. And if you see the room that's coming up next, it's a room that's called 3 ways to make extra income as an entrepreneur. After that, I have a room, 7 tips, 7 keys to getting your startup funded. So yeah, if you want more rooms in your hallway that are similar to this, feel free to give me a follow, check me out. And yeah, look forward to, adding value in any way that I can. So with that being said, Don, I'm going to throw it to you for the last word, and then we'll close it out so we can all enjoy our Sundays.
Excellent, Jared. Thank you so much. Listen, folks, over 439 people came through this room today. There are 73 people in here right now. We've got people who have been commenting. We had 17 shares. We had some clips going on. I absolutely love being in here today with you, sharing this information. But please go ahead and make sure you follow me and click that notification bell, because of what is happening with what Dr. Eric Thomas said about our program. More and more people want to hear what we have to say. Therefore, we're going to be doing some pop-up rooms during the week, during the day. So get the word out. All right. Follow us. Follow the club. And then what you could do is make sure that you share this information with others. We're going to be right back here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, doing it all over again. share and answering questions and sharing this information. So if you have a different question, come back tomorrow, or put it in the chat. Do whatever you need to do so that we can help you do what you need to do. But right now, folks, just remember this. Don't let the high interest rates scare you off, because you can do better with the higher interest rates. And remember this one thing when you're refinancing your loans. If by refinancing you're saving money, then who would be losing money? Keep that in mind, so that when you refinance, let's do it in the right way so it saves you money and not just make the bank money. All right. And like Jonathan being told earlier today, we love working with the bankers, with the brokers, because they said we get our money back sooner. And then the person who they can invest more and buy more in the time that they're in their working lives, instead of just the one house. I have one client that's paying off their third house since 2008. Listen, there's so much that can be done when you find out how much interest you can save. Listen, my last words are going to come from Dr. Eric Thomas, who talks about paying off his own mortgage, and how his wife felt about it, and using the P.I.L.L method to do it, from our conference 2 weeks ago. Folks, he said this just 2 weeks ago. So we're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas, and then we're going to go to our outro music. Thank you so much for being with us today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Roll it.
To me, y'all. I didn't even know he was responsible. But one of his mentees, probably about 4 years ago, maybe, took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, "Oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money?" I was like, "I don't know, forever." She's like, "You sure?" Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. And so when I paid the house off, my boy was like, "You ain't gotta do that, you can do this." But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down from my wife, because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest. Do me a favor, take these principles and use them. Make the rest of your life the best of your life. I love you guys. Take care.